What's up, gentlemen? Welcome back to the Tiege Hanley Starting a Business, Building Your Brand vlog. This one, big number 209. So, first things first, got to tell you the exciting news in the Tiege Hanley house. Officially, we have launched Lips, all right? The lip balm that we've been working on for literally like 2 years. I don't know how long, but it's been way too long. Finally, it launched now, gentlemen, and I am proud to say that all you got to do to grab it is go to your dashboard, log into Tiege.com, and you can add it to your thing, and you can buy it, and you can have amazingly soft lips. I know that a few weeks ago I told you about the bar soap, the exfoliating like body bar that we're launching, and we're like, yeah, they're going to launch together. Well, guess what? As with everything, there are issues, there are problems, and one of our ingredients, the super smelly stuff that smells amazing and feels real cool on your skin, the menthol stuff, got held up at customs. Go figure. And so we're a little bit behind the 8 ball with that, but it's coming soon. Like in the next week or two? I don't know. It's so frustrating. Anyway, what's not frustrating though is that your lips are going to be kissably soft. Gentlemen, Tiege.com, make it happen, try it out, and let us know when you get it, please. In the comments, we love feedback. And so we worked really hard. The reason why this has taken so long is because we wanted not only a good lip balm, we wanted a perfect lip balm, and we wanted to make sure that it had a high enough SPF in it. And so you got to test it every time you screw up a version. You got to start over with the testing and the baking and the time to make sure that it hits the SPF mark. It is a lot just to make a lip balm. Anyway, it's made, it's perfect, and you're gonna love it. Something that I wanna talk to you guys a little bit about is a realization I had this week. And truthfully, I feel like for a long time I've been lying to myself a little bit and blaming entrepreneurship for the reason why I don't take more time off and I don't hang out with my friends more. And this week I was, and just letting you guys know that you may, take this the wrong way. I am not trying to say that woe is me, poor me, oh my God, I've got it so hard. I'm not saying that. I'm just letting you know that I'm struggling with something a little bit. And when I struggle with things, for me, what helps me is talking, filming videos. And unfortunately, or fortunately, you're kind of like my counselor. This video camera is my therapist and my therapy. And once in a while, I got to just turn it on and talk about some things that I'm dealing with. Now, are you possibly going to think that I'm like, poor me, like crying about something that whatever, that's possible. But the truth is this, that regardless of how you see something from the outside, no matter how incredible it looks like, hey, you're just making YouTube videos and you get to make a living off of that. And, and poor you get to, I have to dig a ditch. Like, I get it, right? There are worse ways to make a buck. That being said, because I've done a lot of them, but that being said, there still are times where you have crappy days or crappy weeks or things get a little bit overwhelming, regardless of how amazing from the outside something or a situation looks. And so just letting you sort of chew on that for a second. This week I had a hard week. I had a friend coming into town, a high school friend. And he emailed me or he texted me on Monday and he's like, hey, I'm going to be in town, why don't we get together for dinner? And right away, the first thing I thought wasn't like, awesome, I get to see my buddy who I haven't seen in 8 years. It was, I wonder if I can make an excuse to get out of it because I need to work. And it sort of hit me when I thought about that. I was like, oh my God, like, what has happened? What have I sort of become in terms of just like this workaholic, it made me sort of question what I'm doing a little bit and why I'm doing what I'm doing and working so hard and not taking really time for friends and I feel so bad. I feel so guilty even saying this. Why I don't take more time for friends or seeing people. So he's coming into town, right? And I'm starting to think about this, like, oh, can I just make an excuse to maybe blow him off? And I started feeling like I was such a bad friend. And that kind of got me down and started me down this dark rabbit hole of I'm a crappy friend and I'm probably no fun to really hang out with because I work all the time, and I work all the time. And I've been really making a point to take the weekends off and working really hard like Monday through Friday, where I'm filming 5 to 6 videos a week, and I'm dealing with all the other things that my businesses have. But then on weekends, I've really made an effort. I used to work on weekends, right, where I was like, oh, if I wasn't working, I felt guilty. And so it's this whole weird grind until you make it mentality, but then once you kind of make it, whatever that means to you, then it's like, okay, well now what? Well, for me, unless I'm working towards something, I feel totally out of whack. Unless I've got a goal, unless I've got that North Star, I feel crazy, and I feel uneasy. I get butterflies, and I feel nervous. I am most content when I've got too much going on. And so, my friend's coming into town, and this also dovetails into something that I'd been thinking about for the past few weeks, because I got an email from this gentleman who's an influencer. And he's putting together the annual man camp thing. So a few years ago, this one dude, I think it was actually Raphael from the Gentleman's Gazette, was like, hey, let's get together, just a few of us, maybe 10 or 12 influencers in this space, and let's just get together and hang out and do something random. And so we hung out. It was Brock from The Modest Man, it was Raphael, it was Ryan Mickler, it was Ryan McGinn. There was a lot of dudes there. AJ from The Art of Charm. A lot of guys went to Tennessee. Antonio came with me. We basically all met in Tennessee, and it was this weekend of just doing guy stuff. Eric Banholtz, might have mentioned him or not, where we shot skeet, we went out to eat, we had a chef come in at this cabin. There was no cell phone service, and so it was oh my God, it was really hard for me to get over it. And we drove fast cars, and it was just a really cool event. So anyway, that was something totally outside of my norm and outside of my comfort zone. I don't do things like that very often, which brings me back to I'm a really bad friend. And I have lied to myself saying that I'm busy. And so because I'm busy, I can't, because if I don't, do this, then and the truth is that I've just prioritized work and making money over friendships, which is really screwed up. And it was this week that I really just went, actually, technically it was a few weeks ago, because I got this email from the person putting on Man Camp this year. It's going to be in Austin, Texas, and it's grown. There are a lot of people that are going, and including John from the Cavalier. What's up, brother? Really appreciate you hanging out and watching, and I look forward to getting together with you. Anyway, Eric Banholtz, Raphael, there are a bunch of guys that are going to be in Austin for a week. Now, that's one of the things that for me, I just can't do. I can't go for a week. I just have too much to do, and this isn't just an excuse. Unless I do 5 videos, 6 videos, including the vlog, a week, I can't just break even in terms of my workload. I need to create that much content in order just to be here. And so as you can see, that's a lot of work. It's a lot of content, and I'm not saying poor me, because, thank God I can do this and all that good stuff, but it's just a lot. And so I was, once again, when I got that email, in my head I'm thinking, I work too much. They don't understand. I'm going to stay here, and I'm going to work, and I'm going to make an excuse and say no. Well, I decided that in 2020, I am going to start prioritizing things a little bit differently. This doesn't mean that I'm not going to work a lot. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to still have the obligation to make this much content. But I'm going to do a better job of prioritizing. And because, something happened 2 years ago where my wife's brother, he passed away, quickly, unexpectedly from a heart attack. He was 44 years old. And that was a very big eye-opener. And it was my wife and I had a really hard year. It's been 2 years now. We just celebrated the 2-year anniversary. My wife was in a funk for a week. And it might have something to do with that now that I'm actually thinking about it. It's so weird how we connect dots later in our head. But at the time, we have no idea what's going on. And so really, that was one of those things where it was man, you've got to, tell the people that you love them, and see them as much as you can, and all that good stuff. But even though you know that, it's easy, or it's hard to actually make that life adjustment and change. You typically, at least I do, I fall back into ruts, I fall back into patterns, and you would think that at that point I would reprioritize things and try to see the people I love more. And I do. To be completely honest, I do try to see, my loved ones, and talk to them or see them as much as I can. But when it comes to friends, I prioritize my work over them. And 2020 is the year that I am going to not do that as much. I'm laying it out there. This is like a resolution before resolutions are even cool, right? Another few months, we're all making them. I'm saying it now. I'm laying down the gauntlet that I need to do a better job and stop lying to myself. Stop lying and saying and making an excuse that I'm too busy. Because if it was really a priority, I would make time. I would do extra work here so that I could have time there. So anyway, I get this email about the next man camp, and I thought, I'm not gonna go. All these people, it's gonna be a lot of fun, but they don't understand. They don't understand, what it's like to run a bunch of businesses and do this much content. Because the truth is that a lot of these dudes, a lot of my friends, none of my friends are in the same position that I am and have the amount of obligations that I do in terms of content creation, because I still edit all of my videos, which brings me to another big stressor. My computer craps out this week. You want to talk about all these crappy things coming together, right? And so my computer dies this week. I'm like, okay, how do I edit? I have a backup, but the software, it sucks. So I'm making it work. I had to go and buy a new computer really quick and figure that out. But you make adjustments. Technology issues, man. When you got them as a business, it really sucks. So back on track. So I started thinking all about this prioritization thing. And that got me thinking a little bit about money and why I continue to push as hard as I do in terms of everything. I push super hard and I work my ass off. I mean, I've been not going to bed until 11 o'clock at night. I used to go to bed at 9. I'm getting up. I've been killing myself lately. And I was thinking, I'm like, so why do I do this? Why do I feel this urge to just keep going and not have the ability to look long term? Because the truth is, if I'm being honest with myself, I don't have any desire to not work as much as I do. I don't have any plans of when I do X, I'm going to stop this. It's this ingrained desire and need to just keep going. And so for a while, I was blaming it on the fact that I have people that rely on me now. And I've made this comment before, which was a lie. And when I'm looking back, and see, I'm in a very reflective place right now, so you'll have to forgive me. And I'm sorry if this is just crazy and totally boring. But I used to tell myself that I was the happiest when I made $100,000 a year. And, looking at that, I was happy, and it's all good, looking back, right? When I made $100,000 a year, I had, up until that point, was making $20,000. And so making $100,000 a year, man, things were great. I lived in the same house. I drove the same car. I didn't have expensive taste. I never really had expensive taste or wanted to buy a bunch of things. And it was amazing, right? I was making $100,000 a year. This was more money than I dreamed of this. From the time of me being super young, I had $5,000 in the bank. And that was my FU money, and I've told that story before. When I had that, it freed me up emotionally and mentally to just kick ass. I was kicking ass, and it felt great. But once that kind of went away, and then it's okay, you want to keep going, you want to make more, because I know that a lot of people say, well, it's not about the money. Well, when it comes to business, oftentimes you've got to figure out what is your measure and how you're going to quantify success. And for me personally, as an entrepreneur, how much revenue I am generating personally and professionally is one of those big sort of barometers. And each year you want to try to do a little bit better than the year before. And that's something that I've always tried to do, ever since I started, getting into this. It was little better, little better, little better. And that lets me know, hey, I'm growing. But it comes to a point where it's like, all right, like what am I reaching for? Why am I doing this? Why am I killing myself? And I was lying to myself saying that it's for other people. This person that relies on me and this person that relies on me. And now I've got like, people that work for me. And if I don't work this hard, then they got, and the truth is that it's me. It's me who wants to work this hard. And the reason that I finally sort of came to the realization this week was that I'm scared to death to stop, because I worry that it'll all go away and it'll all vanish. And all my hard work, and I've worked so hard to get here that I just don't want to let it slip through my fingers. And I've prioritized my ability to be very resilient and to be able to work as hard as I do as one of my like superpowers, like, and almost like a badge of honor, right? Like I can work, I can outwork like anyone, like give me, like, come on, like, let's go. Like I can outwork you. I might not be as smart as you. I might not have as much money, but the one thing I can control is me and my ability to get up every day, even when I don't feel like it, and go to work. And even though I have one of the greatest jobs in the world, and I feel every day that I am one of the luckiest guys in the world, it's still work. It's still hard work getting up and just having to do this, putting yourself out there and laying it all on the line and just like going. I don't know where the hell this vlog is going. It's taken some weird left turns. But it's hard though. And so this week was one of those times where just a lot of weird things were coming together. I didn't want to go to work. I didn't want to get behind the video camera or in front of it and just put on like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. But it was my being scared. It was me being scared that I'll lose it all and that I worked too hard to get here, but I don't know what the future holds, right? Like, you never know what's going to happen. You never know where you're going to be tomorrow, right? Like nothing is guaranteed. Like tomorrow isn't guaranteed. Like this might be the last video that I ever film. You may not, I'm sorry to turn or go dark on you, but you just never know. You've got to make the most out of your day today, and you've got to do what makes you happy. And so I think one of the things that I've come to realize is that working hard is one of the things that makes me happy, even when I don't want to do it, if that makes any sense whatsoever. And so, anyway, I just wanted to let you in on something that I was dealing with this week, and I guess it still is like to be determined, but I am happy to report that last night I had dinner with my friend, and it was amazing. It was great catching up, and it was cool. And, I was able to get my work done, and I had a very lovely, lovely dinner. And I am happy to report that I am going to Austin next month, actually 2 months from now in January, and I can't wait to hang out. I'm only going for like one night, but still, it's outside of my comfort zone, and I'm prioritizing people over my ability to work hard. All right, that is where I'm going to wrap this weird, rambling, nonsensical vlog up. Gentlemen, here's the deal. If you have a business question, down in the comments, start it with business question, ask your question. It can be any question. It can be about anything as long as it is related to business. Whatever business you want to ask about, we'll give you our honest answer. It might not be right, and it might be a horrible answer, but whatever, we're here to help as much as we can, even if we don't. Like this vlog probably didn't help any of you. Guys, down in the comments, ask it. Start with business question. I already said that. The one thing I need to tell you before I wrap this up is that we at Tiege Hanley love you more than our double monk strap shoes. And also remember, lip balm is amazing. Link below, tiege.com.